Hello everyone and welcome to the third lecture of Paraspar's Art and Science series organized by the Office of Communications at IISc. I have the pleasure of introducing today's speaker, our very own Dr. Bitasta Das. Besides being a creative teacher at the undergraduate program at the Institute, Bitasta is also a senior editorial assistant at the Office of Communications. For her doctoral work, she studied the ethnic conflicts of Assam, and her current research is on traditional knowledge and folk wisdom. Bitasta has published 5 books on ethnicity and culture of India and edited one, Arting Science, which is published by the IISc Press. The subject of this book, which is a collection of art born out of a unique experiment, is also the subject of today's lecture. So I give you Bitasta Das.
Thank you, Narmada. I'll share my screen. Okay, I'm sorry for the flight noise. It will keep coming because I live near HAL. I'm sorry for this. I don't know what to do.
Yeah, you can see.
Okay. So good afternoon, everyone. The title of my talk is Arting Science, a Humanities Experiment at IISc. As Narmada mentioned, that it is the book. It's the title of my book, Arting Science, that I had edited, and it was published by the IISc Press in 2016. It comprised of the artwork, the folk artwork that my students had done as part of the course, and it was the first year that I was teaching, and the assignments that I had given to the students were put together in this book. But it also refers to the body of work that we have been doing year after year, and it has been the 9th year that I had taught this course. And every year there's some of the other new work that students bring out, and I'm going to talk about those work as well in this presentation. So I must tell you about the course, out of which this artwork are produced. So my course is called Mapping India with the Folk Arts. Before that, I have to tell you about the Humanities curriculum at the undergraduate program of IISc. The Humanities curriculum of undergraduate program of IISc has 6 semester formal semesters where humanities is taught compulsorily. And the aim of this curriculum was to make the science students acquainted with the cultural and the social context of the country, the metrics in which they were doing the science. So the very aim of the curriculum was that. And my course is taught in the 4th semester that I had designed, and I also teach. And I have finished the 9th year of teaching this year. So why folk art at IISc? So I should also tell you about the other courses. The other courses are ways of knowing, ways of seeing, and ways of doing. These are first 3 semesters. 4th semester is this course, Mapping India with Folk Arts. 5th semester is Journalism for Scientists, and the 6th semester is the Introduction to Governance. So we tried to put together the courses that would make the students, well aware of the societal realities of the country. So this course is one of them. So why folk art at IISc? Okay. So the aim of the course was fourfold. One was to apprise students to the social context. This is to do with the aim of the entire curriculum of humanities, that is to make the students aware, well grounded in the social context of the country, so that they are not doing the science in vacuum. They know where they stand and what is the social realities around them. So this course was also part of that very philosophy of thinking that we should make the students well grounded scientists. So that was one of the aim. Second aim was that to map the continuity and diversity of the country. We don't live in a monocultural country. We have various culture, we have various linguistic diversity, and this course was to make the students aware of that diversity and to say that every culture is important, every culture is to be respected. So I always tell students that in their previous education they would have tried to attempt to understand the country from the historical perspective or from geographical perspective or from political perspective, but this course is trying to understand from the living culture of the people, through the the vibrant living culture of the people. So that was another aim of this course. Fourth was that folk art as a window to the community life and their worldview. So this course doesn't treat the art forms as objects of aesthetics only. Of course, they are objects of aesthetics, but they are also a window to the worldview and to the philosophy of the people who create them. So this is the entry point of the of understanding the art form in this course. And fourth is pushing disciplinary boundaries. So we will come to that later. First three aim, you will get an understanding when I discuss the role and function of the folk art in the society, that I also do to my students to make them aware of this three aims of the course. If we discuss the roles and the function of the folk art in the society, we will be well aware of this three aims. But the fourth aim, we'll come to them it later. So who is a folk? So I must also tell you that folk did not have the status that it has today. When in the earlier times, in the 19th century, it was mostly seen as something that is it was, the connotation was that it's somewhere in between barbaric and civilized. It is in the middle rung, where people are not civilized, but they are also not barbaric. Okay, so that category of people was called folk in the 19th century. But as time progressed, they were, deeper understanding. And today we know that a folk group is any group which, share one common factor. It can be language, it can be, occupation, it can be religion, it can be, anything. So a group of scientists can also be a folk group. A group of students who have something in common can be also a folk group. And what is folklore? Folklore is the knowledge that this folk group possesses, and the systematic study of folkloristics. So I have to tell you this because the background of my course is folklore. So to understand the basic philosophy behind this course, we have to understand a little bit of what is folk and folklore. And what are the divisions of folklore? The divisions of folklore are fourfold: oral literature, material culture, social customs, and performing arts. So oral literature is the literature that doesn't have a written script, but it's passed on from word of the mouth. Material culture is anything that is tangible: the costumes, the jewelry, the musical instruments, the architecture can be all material culture. Social folk customs are the rituals and the observances that a folk community performs. And performing arts, as you know, is dance, drama, theater, music, are all performing arts. But I must also tell you that these four divisions are not watertight. They share a lot among one another. Okay, a performing art might be related to social custom. It also has the dancers or the performers would be wearing a certain kind of clothes. So it is also to do with material culture, and it is passed on from word of the mouth. So it also has to do something with oral literature. So there is no watertight division between these four division of folklore. So folk art of this country, 28 states, 8 union territories of India has various folk art. It's numerous, it is diverse, it is living, it is vibrant. And recently I was in Chhattisgarh and I did not know so many other art that the state has. So every day it throws new surprises. Every community has something of their own that they celebrate and nurture. So folk art can be visual. That Madhubani, Wali, Chitra art are all examples of visual art. Folk art can be narrative. Hari Katha is one example from Karnataka. Then Baul Gan from West Bengal is another example of narrative folk art. Performative, the dramas that you see, the Yakshagana probably from Karnataka, the Nautanki, then Bhangra are all performative folk art. These are some of the examples. So characteristics of folk art. Common people are the mainspring of folk art. So there is no one author or one owner of this art. The entire community is the owner of the art. So I was told that when Pigeon Bai used to sing Pandwani, the whole stadium, the whole auditorium consisting of 50,000 people used to sing with her. So that is to say that everyone owns the, art. So it belongs to everyone. Folk art may accompany the observation of various social customs. For example, the Madhubani art of Bihar. When it is drawn during marriages or childbirth in auspicious occasions, and it has a social custom. It has to be done in a certain way. A song is sung during as it is being made. So it is also it has connection with social customs. Fertility cult, natural disasters, directly or indirectly provide a theme of these folk arts. So more often than not, it has non-religious themes. It has something to do with nature. Like for example, Bihu, if I take from Assam, it has to do with the fertility cult, fertility of the land and also of human beings. So it talks about that. So these are the themes. The natural, phenomena are the themes of folk art. Textual source or authorship is not important. So you do not have a, you do not have a code. I mean, very strict code for a folk art. There is no one author for it. So it is not important. As I told you, the entire community owns it, and it has different variations. It is orally transmitted. So every generation would add or subtract something from the art, and it is transmitted that way. So folk arts are often mixture of genres: music, dance, songs, drama. So one very good example of this is the Nautanki of UP, where you're also you're dancing, you're singing, you're also telling a story. It is often a mixture of genres, but whichever genre is prominent, we give the name of that. So in Nautanki, you will have the storytelling more prominently. So it is called as folk theatre. Utility is preeminent rather than decorative. So I should also tell you about the difference between art and craft. So basically, in a folk context, there is very little difference between art and craft. Object can be an art and also a craft. But if the aesthetic value is more prominent, it's called an art. And if the utility value is more important, we call it craft. Is handmade with little use of machine. So it's more often than not it's handmade, and so it's not commercially produced. It's not produced in big numbers. Made mostly for the use of a community, sometimes for income. So it is the creators of this art use it for purpose of the community itself. So Nagaland, for example, has some 17 tribes, and each tribe has its own distinct shawl, the shawl which you wear. And by looking at the shawl, you can tell which community it belongs to. It's just the use of 3 colors: red, black, white. But each community, each tribe has its definite patterns, and and the weavers would weave it for the use of the community members. So, but sometimes also it's also a source of income for them. Reflects shared cultural aesthetics and values. As traditions are dynamic, folk art may be innovated over time. As I have mentioned before, over the period of time, it can evolve. And the aesthetics is so for an outsider, it might not look very beautiful, or it might not be very attractive, but it has meaning for the community that from which it emerges. So it is totally for the people, by the people, and it's made for the people. It belongs to the community itself. So why I'm discussing this is because I want to tell you that why when we come to the four aim of the course, the 3 aims are fulfilled when you understand the role and the function of the folk art itself, why they exist in the society. They don't exist just for the aesthetic value, but they have roles and very serious, very strong functions in the society, in the community. So it is very important to understand the role and the functions of the art form in the community. So what are the roles that folk art fulfills? So folk art has psychological role, that is it has certain impact on the individuals. For example, it has It gives entertainment. It gives respite from the drudgery. It is also a very important tool of subversion. Like, for example, there are stories of heroism which gives courage to the human beings, one who is listening to them or one who is reading them or hearing them. So there are stories of good over the evil, which fills people with courage that finally the good will prevail. Then subversion is one important aspect where this is an example of one pater of Kashmir, where the Bhand would make fun of the establishment. It's always anti-establishment, and it talks about how it makes fun of the establishment, and it pens out the repressed anger, the frustration. So it's one of the role that folk art fulfills. So in Panchatantra, you'll see a lot of stories about how a high caste person is shown as a fool, because generally you cannot make fun of the of the people who are in higher order, but in the stories, in true folk art, you can make fun of them and you can take out your frustration. Likewise, the folk social customs are for the cohesion of the community. For the folk games are for better coordination between the members of the community. So the folk art has psychological component to it, psychological effect on the individual. So it has also functional roles, like there will be recipes to curb diseases. This is one function. There are people who do agriculture. They have certain traditional practices which only they know. So it has certain function for the community. Like proverbs will have very deep meaning, very deep truth, very deep knowledge in them, and it would help people to take decisions. If they are not able to take decisions on something, they probably would refer to the proverbs and take their decisions. So riddle that way would keep people sharpen their wit, sharpen their humor. That way they have the folk art have functional roles also in the society. It also has religious role. This is a Matani Pachedi. This is the Wagari tribe of Gujarat. They were once barred from the temples, and what they did is that they created their own goddesses. This is a Matadi Pachedi. It's basically a cloth which has where the mother goddess is drawn, and it is where the mother goddess's cosmic powers are shown, and this was used by them for their worship because they were not allowed to enter the temples. But later on, as time progressed, this has become a very common everyone respects in Gujarat. Everyone respects this aspect of culture, and it is seen in most of the temples behind the goddess's idol. It is one of the important component of a temple. Historical, so many historical events that are not incorporated in formal history are present in oral history or present in oral traditions. Like this is the story of the heroine of Chitradurga Fort, Onaka Obawa, and she was single-handedly responsible for safeguarding the fort of Chitradurga from the Hyder Ali soldiers. So this is she is a folk heroine, and her stories about her are being sung from generations to generations. I'm sure now it has been documented in written words, but earlier it was just in the folk narrative. It was sung and it was passed on. Her legacy was passed on from generations to generation. That way, we have in Assam we have this folk hero called Lachit Borfukan, whose life story was also not documented, or formal historical investigation was also not being done. But we have grown up with stories about his bravery and how he had saved Assam from the Mughals. So these are the it has certain historical component that we know are true but have not been documented. So this is another role of folk art. Economic. So this is a example of Patau art of West Bengal, and we have seen that folk art has given economical avenues to many artists. I am very tempted to tell you about the story of the Madhubani art. The Madhubani art until the 1930s was not known to the outside world. It was art that was done by the women during auspicious occasion. It was done on mud walls, and beautiful paintings of lotus, turtles, parrots, peacocks were done during marriages and childbirth, this kind of auspicious occasion. But unfortunately, during the earthquake of 1934, when the walls of the mud walls were broken, the colonial administrator, William Archer, discovered this beautiful paintings on the broken walls. And it is then when it was known to the outside world, and he wrote a number of articles in the art magazine called Mark. And later it is again when the famine struck in Bihar in Mithila district in 1966-67. It was art historian Pupul Jaikar who encouraged the women to draw this beautiful art in paper, uh, and it was sold commercially, and it gave the women some source of income during that time. And later on, the men also started painting. It was entirely a women's art until that time. And when it became viable source of income, the men also started participating in this art and drawing this art. So the role of folk art is also cultural. This is an example of Meghalaya's Nongring festival, where it's a Thanksgiving festival where after the harvest, the men and women, the entire people, of the village gather, and they for days and nights. I think it's 3 nights and 3 days that this festival goes on, and the women are dancing and the men are holding a sword and going around, the women safeguarding the women. The women are dancing, and there's just one step. They're just stepping on the soil to it is actually to show respect to the soil that you have given us such good harvest and we are thanking you. And this goes on for days together. For an outsider, it might not mean too much, but for the people who are doing it, it means a lot. They are actually thanking the earth for the good harvest. So it is cultural. It brings the community together. It keeps the community together. So these are the roles of the folk art in the society. So by this, I am sure you would have understood what the importance of folk art in a society and what it means to the people who create them. So by understanding this art, we can understand a lot about the group of people who create them. So having discussed about the three roles or three aims of the course, I'm coming to the fourth: integrating art with science. Why is it important? Integrating art with science. We know very well about the two culture debate that was forwarded by C.P. Snow in his 1959 lectures. The proposition was that the two domains of knowledge, the art and the science, are mutually exclusive and they don't talk to each other. And there was this urge, or there was this call that they should start speaking to one another. They should start understanding one another for the greater good of the humanity, for the progress of human knowledge and benefit of the society. So this was one thought behind integrating science and art, that to make to create the bridge, to make art and science talk to one another. So having said that, there are a few other things that came to my mind when I was making the students do what I asked them to do. So as opposed to the written word, scientific expression through art facilitates personal, creative, and diverse ways of engaging with art. So I feel when the students are doing the art of putting the science concept in their art, it is very personal, and it is it's creative and it's diverse, and it can bring out different variations of the same calculation. Probably it becomes very personal to the students, and they they accept science as their own. So this was another way of trying to make the students understand science, or to explore science. Inculcates critical thinking and creativity that are necessary to compete in the global context. So this was the third reason, or the thought behind asking the students to do art with science concept, that is inculcate critical thinking. We should in this changing global context, we cannot live in isolation because everything is related. To understand probably something, a concept like world hunger, you have to understand climate change, you have to understand war and conflict, you have to understand uh, uh, various things, poor public policy probably, you have to understand unequal distribution of wealth. So everything is related, and to compete with the global context, one has to think critically, and art in its essentiality, inculcates critical thinking. So that is another reason why I made the students think science through art. So now let me come to what we have done so far. So this is another book besides Arting Science that we published. It was also published by IISc Press in 2019. This was the work of the students of 2017 batch, and I will come to that. What was the content of this book? So this was the first batch that I had taught, the 2012 batch, and the assignment that I had given. So by the way, these are the final assignment that I give to the students, and it's supposed to be the final examination. So whatever you will see now is their part of the final examination. So this is the final examination of the 2012 batch, and I had asked them, because I was taking this course for the first time, I was taking small steps, and the assignment was very simple. I had asked them to show some scientific concepts through folk art of any folk art of the country. So the first one here, the students have shown Mendel's second law of inheritance through Madhubani art. You can see the different, allele, the dominant allele and the recessive allele here. It is done through, the beautiful fish motif of Madhubani. This the one next to it is the robotics. It is shown in miniature painting. So Krishna is shown as robot and Radha as human, and there's a peak in interaction between the human and robot, and after that there's a dip. The valley below shows the dip, which depicts the depression, the depletion of the interaction or the attraction between robots and human post the peak. After that, the long painting is Cherial painting of Telangana. Here, the students of Cherial is an art form which depicts war. Essentially a art of the war. And here, the students are showing the combat between antigen and antibody. When antigen enters the body, how the antibody of the person fights with them. So this is shown through the Cherial painting, and they have maintained the red background of the traditional Cherial painting. After that is the church art style painting, glass painting, where the students have shown the metamorphosis, and they are also showing how you can come out of your vices, the pride, the what, the sloth, you can come out and metamorphose yourself into a better person with a lot of kindness and charity. So this is the church art style painting. So after that, this is the Gond art, and they are showing evolution of animals. There is the accretion, that there is a city and there is a village, and how the city is attracting the people from the village, and it's creating an accretion disk. So after that is the importance of zero, how zero was discovered in India, and it was popularized by the Arab traders. So this is shown here, and the the interaction or the coming together of both the worlds is shown through the wormhole. So this is the importance of zero, significance of zero in Jamini Roy style Kalighat painting. Then the other one, the one is the maths theorem, the collage conjecture. I will read it out because I have not understood the concept properly, the science concept properly. So I'll just read it out so that I make no mistake. The collage conjecture in Sanji. This Sanji is the paper art cutting technique of central India, Uttar Pradesh and Madhya Pradesh. At a metamorphical level, the work represents the principle of unity in diversity. It depicts that each leaf though varied from each other, ultimately rose from the same base. This is closely related to collage conjecture, where every number seems to reach unity at the end of the process. Sorry. So this is what the students have shown through the Sanji art. So I'll come to the next batch. So the next batch was 2013 batch, and the assignment, the final assignment that I had given to the students was to represent any natural phenomena around them through a folk song or folk music. And this was a batch, this was a group of Odia students, and they had written, composed, given music, recorded a song to talk about the life of a river dolphin in the Chilka Lake. I want to play the song, a little bit of the song for you.
कागे गाइबी परण संगीत कापासे पाइमी अंतर बीणा काकाने कोइमी मरम वेदना मन कथा मने रहिल सिना कागे गाइबी परण संगीत कापासे पाइमी अंतर बीणा काकाने कोइमी मरम वेदना मन कथा मने रहिल सिना बुझे अनतिम भाव शुणी मगर मरण महाड़ रे बोइछि आजी जाल रे फसुछि मनिष जीवन मचेउछि जारी फेरे मोराई जे नाही न सुंदर असत अन्याय अशुभ बिंदु कि मो भावना मो प्राण प्रवाह भेटी आजी से फेरे
So that was the song, and there were various songs that the students have, brought out. There was a song about the volcano eruption. There was a song about a water cycle in the atmosphere. So that way, there were many songs, and yeah. So the next batch, the 2014 batch, the assignment that I had given to them was to, as scientists, what they think are the problems of the social, issues of the society, and and what, as scientists, they can, change them, make a difference. So students have shown many things. One, this was a shadow puppetry, and they showed the evolution of human and how people should evolve to be better humans. Was shown here in shadow puppetry style. Here they showed the anthropocentric worldview of human and how it should be countered. There was this in Chow style, the students had shown unaccounted development that needs to be addressed. Then here in this was Ram Leela style, they had shown gender inequality. Then here in Ras Leela style, they had showed how the caste system needs to be countered. Here, Nautanki style, they had showed how superstitions and blind faith should be addressed. And this one was Ram Leela, and I don't know what they were showing, but it was very interesting how they showed how Ram Leela would have been if the technology of the present times were present at that time. So this was what they showed. It was amazing, and we did it for the public. It was open for all college students of Bangalore. This was the assignment, the final assignment. This was his final exam. The 2015 batch, yeah, this is 2015 batch, and they did folk dance. So our students take major in 6 subjects: physics, chemistry, maths, biology, material science, and earth science. So I told the students to choose one groundbreaking discovery in each discipline and to show it through a folk dance, through any folk dance of India. So the chemistry group showed the Haber's process in Dolu Kunita style, first one. The next one was the Kuttu dance, and this was the material science, material science group, and they were showing the one second, material property and microscopy through the Kuttu dance of Tamil Nadu, and this was the biology group, and they were showing CRISPR in Lavani. This was the physics group, and they were showing gravitational waves through Koitapattu dance of Kerala. This is the material. Sorry, this. One second. Sorry, this is the Vida dance, and they were showing the plastic eating worms, and this group is from the Earth Science department. And this is the mathematical science group, and they were showing the four-color theorem through Kalbelia dance of Rajasthan. So I want to show you a clipping. So this is the four-color theorem. So each of the dance, the students were showing this, the theory or the, the concept through the dance steps. And this was the Kalbelia group, the four-color theorem group, the mathematics group, which and they were showing, they did it through the Kalbelia dance of Rajasthan. And what they did was, just to give you an example of what the students have done in all the other groups as well, is what this group, how they presented the theorem was that they were dancers wearing four-color dresses, and until and unless the fourth color was added, no two, two dancers, I mean, the four-color theorem where, until there are four colors, no two adjacent, points will have similar colors. So they did it through dance, and until the fourth color, the blue color was added, no two dancers were, having similar dresses stood together. So let me play it for you. Okay, I should also tell you that this song was sung live by a Bengali boy, and he sang a Rajasthani song.
मारेगा घड़ा गिरा डाला थारा चोखा चढ़ा चा गाल बाती खाले आके मारेगा घड़ा गिरा डाला थारा चोखा चढ़ा चा कर शरारत सब झाड़ू में चौधरी मारे चले वो न पंगा जी में कर दे निर्गुण में लागी सौकड़ी रे चन्ना में थारी सागड़ी और दामन में वादी कुकी रे झूम 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 बाजू ओ मारे निर्गुण.
So that was the dance. Following here, we did, this is the, these are the paintings that are there in the Jal Jangal Zameen in the Age of Science and Technology book. So the assignment that I had given to the students was to, so in this year we discussed the tribal issues, the problems that the tribal community of our country faces. And the assignment that I had given to them was to think about Jal Jangal Zameen, that is, water, land, forest, and to juxtapose it with science and technology, and to see what has science and technology done to them, or what has science and technology done to the tribal life? So I just gave them this assignment, but I saw three, distinct thought process emerging. A few group of students felt that science and technology has only brought destruction to the tribal life. So I put them in collation. So here they have shown in Assam manuscript painting style, they have shown destruction, how human beings have brought destruction to forest and created havoc. Here in Chitra art style, they have shown how the balance has been disturbed. An imbalance has been brought here in Gona art style. They have shown the snake eating its own tail. That is the Oberus theorem, where you bring destruction to yourself. So another group of students, few groups of students felt that there has been a nice intermingling of the tribal causes and science and technology, and science and technology has been able to very nicely mingle with the tribal life. So here they have shown the elephant corridor in Gond art style. Then there is this Sora style, and they have shown how small discoveries have been able to help the tribal community of life. Similar is this, how similar small discoveries have been made, and the tribals have been able to use them, like the mobile phone and the medical innovations. This is what it is shown in Sora style. Then a few group of students thought that science and technology has brought very novel, very new things, new ways of life for the tribal and for the Jal Jungle Zameen, and they have created new avenues, and they have created new things. So here in Peel art style, they have shown the coral reef restoration, how the progress in science and technology, we have been able to actually restore things from destruction. So then the next group, through Pichwai art style, they showed how drought resistant trees have been able to curb or to address the problem of barren land and drought stricken land. So this is the Pichwai style they have shown. And this is in miniature painting style. They've shown cloud seeding and how it has brought rain. So this three thought process I noticed in the group of students, and I had compiled this into the book Jal Jungle Zameen in the Age of Science and Technology. So these are few examples. There are more paintings other than this. So after that, we did folk cuisine, but unfortunately the pandemic hit and we had to stop the physical classes in between. So the assignment that I had given to the students, on which only a few of them could present, was with minimal cooking or no cooking at all, you have to bring to the class some recipes, some food items which is used in your household or in your community to curb diseases, to preventive diseases or curative diseases. So two group of students were able to bring them. That was folk cuisine, and then we did folk costume and folk tales in online mode. So folk tales, which we concluded this year in the January-April semester. There I had asked the students to write down legends, scientific legends that we don't easily find in our books, but are essential. So I have a set of stories, folk legends, which I will put them together in creative way, probably in future. So this is what we have done so far, and I will take some questions.
Hello, Bitasta.
Yes.
Yeah, it was really beautiful what you have managed to get those students to come up with.
Yeah.
So, how was their reaction and how was their response to trying these things out? Because I'm sure they never thought about science from the point of view of aesthetic,
Yeah.
So how did they respond to it?
So certain art form like the paintings and all, they don't have much resistance. Or yeah, resistance is the word. They don't, they accept it easily. But certain things like dance, theater, where they actually have to use their bodies to do something. There, I have seen a lot of questioning and so they'll come and you want us to do this. I say yes. So there's a little bit of convincing required at that point. But and finally they bring out wonderful things as we have seen. But a little bit of convincing is required. For certain group of certain students. Yeah. But yeah, finally they all agree, and I'm told at the end of the course, I have hardly found any students, cribbing about anything. So I feel that they enjoy it finally.
Okay, thank you.
Do you know if any of them have continued some of these pursuits after graduation? Have they told you about it?
So there's many of them write back to me when they find a folk art or some or some art. At least a handful of them have written back to me from abroad. Most of them saying that, oh, I remember doing this in our undergraduate. Look at this. They will write back. And at least one I can think. Narmada also knows him quite well. Siddharth, who has gone to do science communication, and I feel good about it. Yeah.
But the students in these courses are mostly undergraduate, right? But what
They are
about-
undergraduate. They are undergraduate who are doing their science.
Right.
Yeah.
What do you think would be the merits? Definitely there are merits, but also do you think there'll be more challenges trying to do this at a slightly more with PhD students or someone older? Do you think it'll be more difficult to have?
I don't know. That's why I have called it an experiment. So I don't know. But I also know that the students might not do it readily if it is not given to them as an assignment. One is I have to be fair to them because they have very less time in their hand. I understand that. And to give them some extra work would be, not right, on my part. So this is part of the assignment. So they do it. And some students who, absolutely say that they can't do it, I give them some other assignment, I can't be, be so, forceful towards them. That's why.
Okay.
Hey, hi, Bitasta.
Hi, Samira.
Hey, I have a question, but before that, I just want to add to what everybody else has said, that it's absolutely wonderful and amazing. And I have a lot of FOMO that I was not a UG student and I could not participate in this course. But
Thank you, Samira. Thank you.
no, my question, which I forgot now, wait, my question was, that no, I forgot my question. I'll text you.
It's okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, sure. No problem. No problem.
Hi, Bitasta.
Hi, Pratik.
I agree with Samira. Like even I had like FOMO watching.
I'm feeling, Pratibha, I'm feeling that I'm speaking at OoC. It's all our people here. That's okay.
So my question is not like completely related to the like the humanities experiment at IISc. I just wanted to know, through the work that you're doing, has there been any like changes to the folk art, or like, so what I have in mind is like, so some of, correct me if I'm wrong, it is dwindling right now, like folk art is dwindling. There are a lot of things that are getting lost because people didn't take the time to preserve them. Has there, like, do you see something changing, or
So,
if it's
Pratibha,
not like,
to be very honest, now the course or the work that is brought out by the student is seen as science communication. But when I was doing it, I was not doing it as for science communication. I was testing because I have been trained in folk art. I was trying to test whether the folk art genre have the vocabulary to talk about sophisticated, concepts like science. my entire motive was that to to explore, to test whether folk art can talk about science. So I think it has very well talk about I mean very nicely depicted the the entire innovations and scientific concepts very successfully depicted them. So I feel there's a success there in terms of that the test or what experiment that I was trying to do. The change that you see is I don't know, but my entire effort or my entire attempt is to that make people talk about the art, and if it is spoken in a premier science institute like IISc, I am sure people will take it seriously. So I am trying to do my small bit, the way whatever way I can. And for the first time in the history of IISc, we brought Janpat Loga artist from Janpat Loga, and they did Dolu Kunita. We brought Chitra artist, and they had a workshop with the students. So these are like small steps that I am doing. Let's see where it goes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Do you
Samira's
have
question.
any?
Bitasta.
Yeah.
Hi, Bitasta. This
Hi.
is Ning here.
Hi, Ning.
Hi.
Hello.
I think I
Hi,
must
hi.
congratulate you for coming up with such kind of course,
Thank you,
in
Ning.
the midst of science. And I
Thank
know
you.
that you are very much, the institute is well famous for the science, and there you're bringing in the folk art, how to relate. That is why I feel very proud about you. And many
Thank
times I try to listen to your talks, but I miss, even today, I have missed the first part. But still, I think I'm happy that I could connect from half part onwards.
Thank you,
And
Ning, for
here,
joining.
my small just question here is, here the students for undergraduates, is this subject part of the compulsory?
Yeah, this course is part of the course, part of the curriculum, and it is a compulsory course. It's a 1 credit course, 1 class per week. They have to take it compulsorily. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. I hope as you venture, I think it will open up more wider, that the sciences would understand the folk, which is the beginning of many things. Without folk, it cannot come up into this level. So folk is the beginning. So I hope in future, with so much of theoretical understanding, they will be able to understand, and then we will have all the subjects giving important together and going it well. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ning. Thank you for joining. So, yeah, Samira's question. Yes.
Hi, sorry,
yes.
one question.
Tell me.
So, is there any example of a new folk art, something that has arisen in the last century, or something new, a different style, a different forum kind of a thing?
I don't know, for art to be called a folk art, it has to have a group of people, traditionally group of people practicing it. There have been art forms which people have come out with, but unless and until it is done by community members, it cannot be called a folk art. So that is one thing. I am not sure whether any community has come up with some art that they call their own. I am not sure. I have to look up.
Yeah, I think that's a curious thing, right? That are we not cohesive anymore, or is there no community that gathers to express themselves in a certain way anymore? Or are they?
Correct.
Yeah, wonder why this is.
Yeah. We'll have to explore this.
Yeah.
I'll take Samir. Thanks, Narmada. I will quickly take Samira's question. How did you come up with the concept of this course? Are there similar courses elsewhere? So, Samira, when I was asked by Professor Gadakar that what you can offer, I was in the right time, in the right place. Actually, I was at CCS at that time, and we were putting the courses together at that time. And Professor Gadakar very generously asked me if you can put together a course and what can you offer, what can you bring to the table. I thought for a while, because my PhD was on the ethnic conflicts, and I was doing on cultural theories and the ethnic theories and ethnic conflicts. But I thought that if I introduce the undergraduate students who are doing science into this kind of theoretical course, they might not find it. I mean, it might not make too much sense to them, and they might not take it seriously. So I thought that I should introduce them to something they can see, something very hands-on that they see around them. So that's how I went back to my master's training. My master's training, by the way, as Ning is, we are from Tezpur University, and we did masters in cultural studies, but a huge part of it was folklore. And our both Ning who teaches in the Jharkhand University now, and she and I same batch. So our net, the NET net, is from folkloristics. So a big part of the cultural studies that we do in Tezpur University is folkloristics. We study folklore. So I went back to my master's training, and I thought that I should do something out of this, because this might excite the students, the young undergraduate students. So this is how I thought about this course. And about the assignment that I give at the end of the course, it is what I told you. I tried to test, I tried to do something new, and I tried to test the folk art itself, whether they can successfully talk about, sophisticated scientific concept, because of the folk artists of our country, most often are doing the same things again and again. They have certain themes and they will, work around them. Madhubani art would talk about the nature, that human life cycle, those kind of thing. But there is a binding. We can understand that the folk artists have a binding. They can't go beyond certain traditional bindings. But here we have an opportunity to try something new. So this is how I thought that we can do something out of this course, and I gave them, the students, this assignment.
Thank you, Bitasta.
Thank
really
you,
wonderful.
Samir. Thank you.
I have more questions, but I will ask them to you when we are face to face.
Okay.
Thanks. Bye.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. If there is no more questions, we will close it. Thank you so much for joining. Bye.
Bye.
We could have done it at OoC today. Okay, bye.